I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Some of you aren't going to like this video, and some of you are going to start an argument with me because of it. In fact, this video might get a lot of views. It actually might, because the conversations are ones that we may not have had on a wide scale when it comes to video game design and how Apex Legends is actually doing. But this video is important for me to make. One reason, obviously, because I want to. I've been in the situation where I can have these conversations because I work as a YouTuber, I work as a caster, and I've worked in the game industry, a unique trio of elements in my past experience that allows me to commentate on what's actually going on with the game, having seen how games are made and having experienced what people don't know on the other side. But I also want to make it because this is the video you need to be able to share to friends, to share to the smack talkers, to share to people and say, you know what? Yeah, you really think this game is dying? You really think this game has no upside? Okay, here, watch this, bro. Let me know what you think at the end of it. And that's what we're going to cover today, because there's still been this conversation on Apex that the state of Apex Legends is in a worrisome case. And I'm here to dispel that notion, not only with why, but also with some facts to give you not just some solace, but also some interesting point of views you haven't recognized on where the game's going and if it's worth investing if you're a new player. And these videos allow you to see the community in action, because I'm sure many Apex Legends players in the community will be commenting on this video. Remember to leave a like on it, and let's get into it. The first part is the state of the game. And the big state of the game, the controversy, is all of these developers have left this game. When Apex Legends launched just 3 years ago, I loved finding myself reacting to this amazing trailer. I know many of you were so shocked to see that not only that trailer was launching a game, but it was launching the next day. We got on. We shared our love and passion for it. It grew so many profiles and social channels, and the developers became forefront members. And at this point in time, a lot of them have left. And this is leaving a gap in people's awareness of the forefront-facing figures of a game and what they think is actually happening behind the scenes in a game. Now, I explained this in a way to discuss this comment, and I think maybe we should have a conversation on it, because people are discussing this all over the internet in maybe some ways that aren't as aware of what's actually happening. So instead of me explaining it, watch this video that I've already made on it, and you'll see.
We gonna talk about why all the Apex devs are leaving. Today's news in the gaming world is pretty shocking. There are a lot of Apex Legends developers leaving the game today or over the last few days, and it's become this mass exodus where people are getting the heck out of there, making all of us think, wait, what's going on behind the scenes at the company? Or, are they spanking employees if they don't get things on time? What's really going on? Apex, we know, is a great game. We love it, and it's sad to see the people who are front-facing public figures representing the game leaving, but I think it's not something to be scared of. However, it should make you feel some type of way. See, I worked at a game studio called High Res Studios for 3 years myself, and we made Smite, and then when I got there, started making Paladins. And for 3 years, I did nothing but eat, sleep, and breathe Paladins. I'm telling you, I had Paladin dreams. I was making Paladins on my YouTube channel, and it was an amazing experience for me. But after those 3 years, I was ready to move on. I needed something new, and I wanted to expand my career, because at a certain point, you realize games don't last forever. Unless you're League of Legends or CSGO or something. I don't know how people still playing CSGO. Come on now. I'm messing. CSGO is flames. But I wanted to tell you guys that it is important to know people move on. And it's important to know that the game isn't dying. There are still people behind the scenes working just as hard and new ideas coming into Apex that may make it even better. But I can see how scary it would be to watch some of your favorite and seemingly most foundational people who made the game what it is today leaving. Remember that Star Wars news we talked about? I think that's where a lot of these employees are going. New opportunities to work on games in a huge universe, whether it's a first-person shooter, which we know they're developing, a Star Wars FPS, or it's a strategy game, giving people a new flex on the stuff that they love to do, but maybe didn't have an opportunity to do in Apex. You love StarCraft, maybe you love Warcraft, maybe you love Bioshock, but you get to a gaming studio and you make what you're making. Now, maybe there's an opportunity for these developers to go make something that's more in line with their niche, or maybe just make more money for their families after requiring a higher pay grade because they've been so successful before. Don't be sad that they're leaving. Be glad it happened.
And be glad that you're not misinformed, because a lot of people look at that as doomsday. But as someone who has an uncle and a father in consulting, and I understand daily that many of these people who are having these conversations want to leave their jobs, not just because they're unsatisfied, which a lot of people are assuming for Apex, or dissatisfied. is that you can make more money leaving your job and getting a brand new offer than you can usually make staying in the same job and getting a raise. Because raises are typically on a 3 to 10% at the very highest level, but usually a 1.5 to 3% raise. And if you go from a job in one title to, hey, I'm going to be a senior manager in this new thing that isn't as established, you could jump 30, 40, maybe sometimes even 50% in what you're making. That makes a big deal for your family. Plus, they've also got 3 new Star Wars IPs. So that's where a lot of the developers are going. But it brings us back to this first tweet, which is the first of 3 parts of this video that's going to explain the state of the game and give you a full answer at the end as to what people need to know when they think of how Apex Legends is doing. This tweet I came across today, retweeted by an Apex dev with I follow, and as you know, Tyler, I just love Tyler. He's always in the stream, hanging out, really smart guy. It's easy to get frustrated at the way people think they know about game dev, and this really, I think, encapsulates it very well, and it introduces a concept from psychology I'm going to bring up to you guys and explain. YouTubers making commentary around game dev staffing changes is so freaking exhausting. I know they need content, but the complete lack of understanding and Dunning-Kruger fest of it all is just depressing. AAA games are made by groups, and no one is irreplaceable. Now, what does she mean by that? What does Kirk de Soleil, Horizon Forbidden Kirk, mean by that idea? Well, let's take a look at what the Dunning-Kruger fest is. Now, if you guys don't know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is, it's the cognitive bias where people with low ability at tasks overestimate their ability. Some researchers also include in their definition the opposite effect for high performers, their tendency to be really good at something and underestimate their skills. If you want to see this visually, here's one way to look at it. It's I'm so great, right? The scale of confidence and competence. When you have starting at the bottom, you've got nothing. But once you gain a little bit of competence, your confidence skyrockets like you know everything. But as you continue to learn more and more, you start to realize that you don't know a lot. And that's where you kind of get that, oh, wow, I didn't realize how big this was, until you keep learning, and then you get better and you go, I'm good, but I know my limitations. Sometimes people talk about how wisdom is really the ability to know that you don't know everything. And that's what the Dunning-Kruger effect is. A lot of gamers essentially learn a little bit. They see the glimpse, the top of the iceberg of what it means to be a game dev, and then they think they know all of the game dev processes. And they say these things like it's like they know what's happening behind the scenes, and they really don't. And of course, nobody who's on Twitter talking about why their game is failing, give Battlefield 2042 for an example, really understands the game dev process. And if they did, they would just start going into the valley of despair before they could actually become competent to realize what they don't know. This is important because, of course, when you see this, you say the game must be failing. But let's look about what's actually happening in the last few months of a player base status. Alpha Intel is a great Apex Legends kind of statistic Twitter. You guys should follow them if you want to keep up with stuff like this. Almost 1 million followers, so you're probably already following them. And they tweeted this in February 9th of 2022, just maybe a month ago. Apex Legends just hit an all-time player count on a peak player count on Steam of almost 400,000 players. If player counts have also peaked on other platforms, it could be that the surge in players has caused the crash, because there was a crash that day. This is an all-time peak. This is 3 years after the game has been out, and it is all-time peaking. That is an exceptional sign of steady growth. But let's look even to the next phase, which happened on February 27th. Over 3 years old, still the most streamed game on Twitch in the past month, Apex Legends. More than Fortnite, more than Valorant, more than Just Chatting, more than League of Legends. This game grew 23% in hours streamed and is still 3 years old. It is climbing, and it is above Fortnite, which obviously is maybe the most influential, impacting battle royale in history. But I'm not sure if it's the best. Alpha Intel then went on to tweet just a few days ago, this is 2 days ago, that Apex Legends just hit over 200,000 concurrent players on Steam on average in February. That is the highest average player count since release. And so these are factual statements showcasing that the player base and the players around the world, not just the viewership, but also the viewership, is showcasing you factually Apex Legends is only going up. How long will this last? I don't know. But when people say this is a dead game, or they think that the developers have slowed things down, or that the game won't be pushing out the kind of updates that make an impact, they're wrong. And you could send them this video to let them know the facts. Now, we've had a lot of great things launch in this season too. Control, the new mode featuring a 9v9 kind of deathmatch respawn where you try to control objectives, and basically 2 out of the 3 objectives, you hold those, you win, has been a really fun success, and people have enjoyed it. But what's more important, and I think maybe the third prong, is that Apex has hit 3 crucial things for a game to have longevity. And I'm going to introduce one of the first things they've done here. But watch this video because it's unique to what Season 12 has brought to Apex Legends and why people are so excited. And this is where Bang helps in these flat grounds. Bang, Horizon here is just exposing yourself. If you try to go up into her Q or tactical or gravity lift, it's just not going to help you. But the fact that the Bangalore can not only smoke, but also hits that double time passive, covers the distance a little bit easier, well, heck, a lot easier. It's really going to make the difference here in those skirmishes. Maybe they don't have 2 in them, though. As you can see, Torrent is very, very low. Rambo luckily has the gold shield. I just don't think it's going to be enough. No ultimate, no smoke. Well, he does have the smoke. No need to do it now. Obviously wants to give the side up. They do have the PK, and they do have the digi-threats for 2 members, so I'm kind of curious why no smoke. There it is. It finally comes out, hiding the vision. At least it'll make it a little harder for Intel to push willingly. But Mooney there, he's already moving forward.
Yeah, Intel trying to come in and capitalize, finish this thing off. Arcan up. Rambo, though, does go down. Uri's in a whole lot of trouble. And Team Intel does finish them off, but they're in trouble as well.
Pay
Fearless,
attention.
their last man up. And Fearless now all the way out. So Team Intel goes down. And
here's the key.
Take a look at that.
W. Look at these guys. The Loba comes to play. Well, we got a real fun final circle. 4 squads remaining. And we've got a Bangalore, a Loba, and a Valkyrie. Are you kidding me?
What, you didn't expect this? That wasn't the comp you prepared for?
I didn't have that on my bingo card, Rich. It just wasn't something I thought could happen. Now we got a Valkyrie Gibraltar Fuse. Sounds a little bit more plausible, but still a bit surprise. This is going to be a final circle you probably won't see often in Apex Legends competitive, so let's enjoy it.
The Loba, unfortunately, Bangalore Valkyrie team does not end up winning. This team ends up winning with Fuse, who is one of the 4 new entrants into the competitive scene this season, and that's what's made this so special. Season 12 has not only introduced 4 new legends into competitive, it's introduced a new map, and it's been more exciting than ever to watch, which leads us to the first prong of what Apex Legends has done so well: maintain competitive interest and integrity. And there's no better player that represents that than Imperial Hal. Watching Imperial Hal's videos and watching his stream, you've seen this guy make so many amazing plays, but be so entertaining that it's bridged the gap from Apex Legends to all of Twitch. And he's become one of the most famous streamers in all of Twitch. And this is just a representation of what Apex Legends has done in terms of catching hold of the community in the competitive scene. His videos as well get over hundreds of thousands of views. And this isn't him, doing random stuff, challenges. This is straight up competitive gameplay. And if you watch Asu and you go click on his videos, you watch Fade, you go ahead, you watch Timmy, these videos get 400,000 to 500,000 of views, sometimes millions of views a day, each video. Because 2, the content of Apex Legends is still incredibly enjoyable to watch and to make for content creators. They've created a system that from a competitive level is interesting and integral and now ever-changing, new maps coming in and healthy. They've created content that is interesting to watch across all of YouTube, across your favorite streamers and players, across videos like this where you're interested in knowing what's happening with the game. And maybe the third and most important part is they've done this in their final season, not the final season, but the latest season after 3 years, hitting all of these records. What does this mean? It means that in my opinion now, not only is Fortnite, yes, Fortnite is maybe the greatest battle royale in terms of impact, but Apex Legends, I think, in my opinion, unequivocally, is the best battle royale game the world has ever seen. And I think if it continues on this trajectory to where 12 seasons after your first, it's still 2-3 times better and growing, we're going to see something in this game we have almost never seen before. Games like Halo, games like Battlefield 2042 are blaming other games and other releases as to why players aren't staying. But throughout it all, the Elden Rings, the Sifus, the Lost Arks, the Dying Lights 2, Apex Legends grew. And it's still growing. That's all I got to say. Send this to someone who thinks Apex isn't in the right state. And as always, leave a like and join me on the road to 400,000. We got a lot of great Apex content over here. As always, never give up, never stop gaming. Love to hear what you think in the comment section below. I'll see you next time.